Every walkthrough that I've seen people making of decks are unboxings and first impressions. And I think that while those are helpful to kind of see the cards to see if you want them, you don't get the kind of special and in-depth walkthroughs and interpretations that people can have once they've bonded with a deck and been with a deck for a little while. So I am making this video to try and fill that gap a little bit. This is the Herbcrafter's Tarot, and I have been working with it for 7 months. It's been my primary deck for, I think, a little over 7 months now. So let's just dive in. This is the Fool. I mean, it's pretty obvious. I don't really have much to say about some of them. This is just kind of what it is. I think that you notice different things each time you pull the card, and usually what I notice is this sun like dandelion, but you also can see this, and here in each major arcana is an altar, whether it's in nature or on some wood, we'll see. But these all are altars that have been drawn, but they look pretty realistic, I think. The Magician. The Magician is a little bit more plain in my opinion, but it still gets the point across. You have all of the instruments for the suits and the lemniscate, so you have everything I think that you could need. The High Priestess is one of my favorites. I really think that mugwort is a great choice for this. I think that many people have made mugwort sachets. I know I have, to put under the pillows. I think that it's a good choice for it. The Empress is a card that stalked me for months in this deck, at least for a month and a half or 2 months, and I really love it. It was one that I was like, oh, this is fine. Like, it wasn't my favorite card. The Empress has never been my favorite card, but in this one it just feels so motherly and open and comforting to me, and I really enjoy that. The Emperor is also another card that this deck has helped me kind of work through. I think, like a lot of people, we don't really enjoy the Emperor card. It brings out a lot of shadowy aspects, but this depiction of it I love. It is orderly and organized, and that's kind of what you see. And it's got structure, and it helps me think of routine and staying in your routine and kind of getting into a habit and keeping things nice and clean and orderly and organized, but it's not oppressive. But I really like this one, and this has been coming up a lot for me recently because I just moved, so things are a little bit chaotic and feel like they need more structure, and seeing the Emperor in some of my readings is a nice treat because it is letting me know that the order and structure and routine that I'm craving is on its way. The Hierophant is another card that I think brings out a lot of shadow for people. It, I know, has for me, but this one I absolutely love because it's cacao and it's that ceremony and tradition, and this isn't kind of the all-knowing Pope who has the power and knowledge and can keep it from you and might and anything like that. This is a tradition, and it's passing things down. It feels very generational to me, like passing down information from generation to generation and keeping that tradition alive, and it's much more personal, I think. The Lovers is not my favorite card in this deck. It just feels a little bit plain to me, but everything's there. You've got the two separate circles coming to one if you want that kind of coming together and all of that, but you can also see it as like a choice. I mean, it's fine. It's a little bit plain, but it's all right. The Chariot, this is just something I noticed just now doing this walkthrough. Every other altar for this has been looking down at a table or the ground, and this one looks like it's looking up into the sky. And that is very Chariot energy. It's kind of that motion and movement, and it's not on the ground. You are looking up, it's guiding you, it's showing you direction. Strength this is probably my very favorite strength card ever. I love this. It's garlic. My grandparents have a garden, and every year we go and help them plant garlic. And even earlier this year we did it. We helped plant it, and then we helped dry it and hang it up. And garlic is a very strong plant that I have associations with, so I really like that it's the strength card. And garlic is a very strong flavor, so I think that it makes sense. You get garlic in all of its kind of iterations, because this is what the garlic grows when it's trying to flower, and so you kind of pick those off if you want the bulbs to get big and become real garlic. Otherwise, all of the plant's energy goes to these, and you don't get garlic, so you kind of have to break off what you don't need and what you don't want. The Hermit, this is the first card we see with a candle, and it makes sense why, because usually the Hermit has a light, and so this is the Hermit's light coming from within the wreath. I think it's very fitting, and I really like that. The Wheel of Fortune I absolutely love as the kitchen garden, because it shows the different times, and you've got different plants that bloom at different times of the year, so your garden is always changing and evolving, and it's not something that can ever be stagnant or else it dies. Justice. The book goes into detail a little bit about this, about how it's kind of a little bit of a controversial thing, and you've got like this legal looking document and everything. I see it more as you have to look at it objectively. That's how I see justice, as an objective. Justice always is blind for me, and it's more taking an objective matter, like what the health benefits are of this plant, and not just the political implications that come from it. The Hanged One, we have Burdock. This is definitely a card that has come up a lot for me too, and it's another one that has that candle, because the Hanged One, you have to go within and find that wisdom from yourself, and that comes from the Hermit as well. It's taking those steps towards inner wisdom. Death is one of my favorites, and I like that it's still death. I like this tradition of honoring death in this, with the sugar skulls and the Day of the Dead and all of that stuff. And you get the butterflies from the Fool and the candles, and it's just a very straightforward card. But it's that, yes, death comes, but we can and should celebrate the life or the endings that we've had and the new beginnings that will come from it. And the butterfly also indicates that new beginning. It's the cycle and everything. Temperance, this is a beautiful card. I love tea, so I love that it's this, and it's with tea, it's that kind of ritual, and you can get that from this, and it's a comfort thing, and it's that finding the balance of taking time for yourself and doing all the things that you need to get done and all of that. The Devil. This has been my stalker card for a couple months as well, and each time it comes up in my monthly reading, I learn something different and something new about the meaning for it. So the first time it came up, it was talking to me about shadow work and really working through my inner issues and anything that I was bringing to the table that felt negative. The next time that it came up, it was talking to me about not seeing myself as the victim and breaking out of that victim mentality. The Tower. I have very funny situations when it comes to the Tower. So everyone knows this is a card of very sudden change and something unexpected happening. And when this card came out for me, one time I was going to the store and I was like, oh, what should I know about today before going to the store and all of that stuff? And the Tower flew out and I was like, oh, like maybe I'm going to change my mind and go to a different store, or maybe I'll buy something different than I was expecting. That's fine. No, the Tower was not talking to me about anything like that. It said, you are not going to the store today because someone had stolen my catalytic converter on my car. And that's what the Tower was referring to. Then the next time I pulled the Tower, I was going on a trip with a friend and I said, what do I need to know about this trip? And the Tower came up and I was like, oh, this isn't going to be good, but we'll see. Lo and behold, my check engine light on my car came on. So the Tower is a very funny card that I now associate with my car. Those are just some situations that I've seen the Tower come in. The Star, this is another beautiful one, and it is also looking up like it will guide you, and you see more stars. This is just one that I know when I see, everything's going to be okay, and I don't have to worry, and I'm being taken care of. The Moon, you see Datura in all of the growing phases and cycles. It's just like the Moon. The Sun, St. John's wort. Beautiful. It's this red that comes from, I think it's the essential oil maybe. Judgment has changed to Awakening in this deck, and I absolutely love that because I don't like the typical imagery that we get with the Judgment card. And I do view it as more of a call to action or an awakening like this, and looking back and kind of recognizing the things that are changing and stepping into a new path. The World, beautiful. It's a culmination of everything. You have the same stones from the Fool, except now you have the feathers from the Hermit and the crystals from the Hermit, and then you have the different herbs. I think these are all the different herbs of the aces. The butterfly comes again, and now you've got all of the different colored flowers from before. They've added up and become this whole thing. Now we've got the Ace of Air. You have a little hummingbird here, and it's yarrow, and there are mountains. It's a little bit cloudy because air is a very, I mean, it's air, and it's the intellect, it's the mind. These are the swords. The Two of Air is chicory, and it's the summer right now, and chicory is all over where I live. And I would always see it driving, and whenever I saw it while I was driving, I would think of this card and think to myself, what ideas or conversations or thoughts am I having that need to be had, or what decisions need to be made right now? And I just used seeing these flowers in real life as a reminder to think about this. Three of Air, I love this depiction of it because I don't read tarot like Rider-Waite-Smith. So to have something that isn't a heart getting stabbed, I read it very numerologically, so it's nice to see that it's just this growth. It's looking up into the sky. It is the growth of the mind and intellect and learning and changing and growing. The 4 of air, I love being lavender because it is that calming herb, and it's something that is relaxing, and it's kind of that we can take a breath now from the growth of the 3s. It's being able to take a break and take a rest, and I like that it's in the suit of air because the smell flows through the air, so I think that it's fitting. 5 of air is white sage. You've got the cuttings, so you're growing it, and then it's that change, it's the chaos. I associate the 5 of air with kind of tough conversations or bickering or fighting or just indecision, conflict, lots of things, especially with communication and with the mind. 6 of air is, I love that it's got the paper here because it's writing, and language and communication is a very swords and air element in my opinion. You've got cattail. I think that I love all of the 7s in this deck. I think that they're beautiful, and they all are about refining your skills and that growth, and I just love this eucalyptus. I have bottles that look like this, and you've got this little distillation. I think it's perfect. And for me, 7 is about kind of that stable growth, and that's what learning and reading is. It's gaining that stable knowledge. The 8 of air, I love this because I see it as this, not a barrier, but it's kind of stepping out of your comfort zone. Like, this is your comfort spot, or maybe behind this path is where you were comfortable and you decided to take that step into the unknown and do something to further your growth and better and change and grow. And it's got that freedom outside of these confined walls. The 9 of air, you've got pomegranate. This always reminds me of Persephone just because it's pomegranate and the book talks about it. And this is, I think, the first card we see that's inside. So it's coming in, it's taking all that you've learned outside and bringing it into your home and expanding it and doing what needs to be done. You've got to cut away sometimes. The 10 of air, I love this. This has come up for me recently in readings, and I see this as kind of like the Lenormand way, where it's that anticipation of pain, or pain is coming, but you need to cut away what is no longer serving, and it's kind of the end but a new beginning. So you're clearing the path, you're clearing the path to plant something new or make new beginnings, and it may be painful, but it ultimately is necessary and will be good for you. The hija of air, so this is the page. This is the child of air in Spanish, and it's catnip, and you've got this little cat sleeping, and you have to be careful around it, but you want to kind of grow, and a learning experience for you. It's that learning new lessons. The Adelitas, they are warriors, and these are the knights. So this is the warrior of air and oregano. And this one is very take charge, and when I see this card, it's a sign of like, let's get going. It's time. No more waiting, no more stalling. It's time to do stuff. The Madre of air, the mothers are queens, and she's cutting away what needs to be cut. Madre of air is not the most comforting, but she is kind of I will do what needs to be done, and it will be for your greatest good. It may not feel like it now, but you will see that I was right in the end. The curanderas are healers, and these are the kings. I love this one. I think that you can use this as directionality and see what card she's pointing towards, and you have all of these tools, and they are rusted, but that's because they're old and they've been well used and well loved. I'm sure they've been replaced with new ones. You have these wings that represent air, obviously, and flying, and kind of that elevation of the element. Fire, we have the Ace of Fire. And aces are, you know, what they are. They're the culmination of the element. I don't have much to say about them. Bee Balm. I love this card. I think it's beautiful. Yeah. I love that you get the sun and some flowers, and you really get to see this growth. And the plants are being transferred from the pot, and they're growing and they're changing, so they're being moved to the garden. Three of Fire. This is a very yellowy card. I see this one a lot, and this one just reminds you that your passions are growing, and what you put in, you get out. And you have the mortar and pestles, you have this beautiful array, and there's incense burning and the oils. You have everything. The Four of Fire. This one doesn't really come up for me a lot. I think that I'm still in a place where I'm not sure of everything. So the Four of Fire steers clear of me for now. But it's a little bit chaotic, but it's good chaos. You know exactly what you're doing, and you are in that fiery passion, so you have everything organized. It's organized chaos. You know where everything is, but someone looking at it would be overwhelmed and say, oh my gosh, what's going on? Five of Fire, you've got that red again that came from the Five of Air. Six of Fire, this one does come up a lot for me. And sixes, I think, are kind of success. So you've got these beautiful carved candles on the edges, and then you've got four stable, not plain, but uncarved candles. And then this is the tea light that's reminiscent from the World, and the Hanged One, and the Hermit. So it's just showing that you have that inner wisdom. Seven of Fire, Cinnamon. I love this card. I love all the sevens. You've got the Lime, which is my favorite, and this is a book of healing. And it's really just kind of that stable growth of your passions. The Eight of Fire, this shows the chaos that can happen in the kitchen, and ginger, I think, can be kind of a spicy flavor. The Nine of Fire, you have all of these growing, and you're kind of making stores for winter. More mortar and pestle. The Ten of Fire, you've got beeswax, you've got all of your tools and everything. You kind of know your craft. You've honed your craft. The Child of Fire, Iha, Page. I love that she's scrying, and it's this taking on new activities. Maybe she's giving a little, she's kind of reading her stuffed animal's future. You've got a cauldron, the mortar and pestle again, which is the, I think, like, tool for the fires. And yeah, I really like this one. She's got dirt under her nails. You know that she goes out and she digs in the dirt and she creates what she wants. She brings it into reality. The Adelita, so you see she's kind of grown up. She's got that ring, but it's not a play ring anymore. Her nails are a little bit more done. She's got that bracelet, and her mortar and pestle is her main instrument. She knows what she wants. Instead of exploring it, she knows what she wants and she's going after it. No doubt about it. The Madre, the Queen, she is older, she's mature, she knows that sometimes what she wants and her manifestations take time, and she's okay with that. Take time. I didn't even notice that. Curandera, King, Healer, Damiana, and she's making the symbol of fire. You've got the candle, the cauldron from the Iha, you know, this beautiful painting, the actual herb, and it's about that sensuality and feeling it, and fire's passion. Ace of Water. Obviously, it's by the water. Two of Water. You've got the hummingbirds again, like you had in the Ace of Air. And this statue looks like the same one here almost. It looks like they're kind of the same thing. They've got the same pose. So you're bringing in the things that you've learned from the other suits even. You've got the hummingbird from air and the statue from fire, and you're building upon them. Three of Water, lemon balm. I love lemon balm. I think that it smells delicious. It's also part of the mint family so that it grows very abundantly. You never have to worry about having a lack of lemon balm if you plant it. Four of Water is mint. Like I said, it's part of the mint family, so it's that growth, but it's that stable energy. This image reminds me of sitting outside in my grandparents' backyard, just looking out. They have a row of ferns here, and they have a bird feeder, and we always will sit, especially during the warmer months, so you sit in the afternoon and just kind of soak in the sun and just talk. It's a very stable and happy card. The Five of Water is that chaos, so you're right by the stream, and the tide can change literally and figuratively, and kind of the water can overflow. You've made this barrier, but this isn't watertight, so the water can come flooding through if you're not careful, and they built it here, so it might have a tower moment soon where it does come down. Six of Water. It's that emotional success, emotional well-being. Everything's going to be fine. And I love that it's got this beautiful tablecloth. Seven of Water. This is another one that's inside. It's birch. It's that growth. It's the emotional healing and emotional growth and changing. Eight of Water. It's the stability, the calm, water outside. There are no waves. You can see the reflection perfectly, and you've got your tea. It's just a calm, everything's good, everything's okay. The Nine of Water. This card has been giving me some trouble lately. It used to come out a lot for me, and I think that there are some things that I still need to learn from it. 10 of Water, you get the rainbow, like from Rider-Waite-Smith, and Clover is I associate it with the Lenormand card, and it's that luck and abundance. You have water. You've got the fish here, you're inside again, and a little bit further from the water, but you're learning to use the element at home. You do need some assistance because maybe this healing and this changes are ones that you need some guidance for. Adelita, Knight, Warrior, she does it herself. You don't need anyone. You've got everything that you need right here and within yourself, but you have that emotional maturity to go and seek it if you want. Madre of Water, Oats. And again, you've got the calm stillness of the water in the back, and she's got her moon ring and this beautiful mug. It's just calm and peaceful. I love this card, the Curandera of Water, the Healer of Water, the King of Water. She's so in her element, and you can see her skin is wrinkled. She's very aged, but she's got that wisdom, and she's almost part of the water. Maybe she took this kettle outside and filled it up with this lake or ocean water to kind of connect her while she bathes. And she's got those candles, that inner wisdom. The Eggs of Earth. You've got the butterfly. Now this isn't the monarch, but I think that all butterflies can be seen as kind of that same thing of transformation and everything in this. Two of Earth, Witch Hazel, and I think this is one of the only scenes. I picture this as a wintry scene, but I think that it's probably sand or light gravel or something, I'm not sure. Three of Earth is raspberry, and they are so abundant and they grow everywhere. And you've got 3 baskets full of them, and the baskets and the weaving are the tools for the earth suit. Four of Earth. I love the willow, and I think this is so beautiful. You can just kind of, these cards I think are very powerful for path working or journeying into the card. Five of Earth. You've got this old looking house, but this is kind of new and fragile still. So this storm in the back could come and really wreak some havoc on this plant if you're not careful. It's kind of like a warning. Six of Earth. You get that red that we've gotten in some of the other fives. And this is a night scene, and you've got some fire. I think this is one of the first night scenes that we have. And I really see these as kind of a little releasing ritual of writing what you want to bring in or what you're trying to get rid of to make room for the new, and throwing that into the fire to burn with the pine. The Seven of Earth is my absolute favorite card of all the sevens in this deck. You have the acorns, which are the beginning, the potential, and then you have this huge mother oak tree that just shed all of these. And it's that cycle. It's the rebirth, regeneration, the kind of cyclical nature of life of here's where you start and this is what you become. This card, when I see it, it asks me to kind of approach my elders or ask my ancestors for assistance. It's kind of that looking to that really tangible physical learning. Eight of Earth is turmeric, and you've got the beautiful yellow walls. You've got all of the turmeric dyed clothes out here, and the fresh clothes that are going to be dyed, and this is in the process, and it's just beautiful. 9 of Earth, apple. The 10 of Earth is horsetail. The baskets started out very kind of rudimentary, and they've become so intricate and detailed because you've really honed your skills, and it's time to begin again. The Hija, the child, the page of Earth, is making that path, and it's very flexible still, reminding you to not be so rigid in your values or in your opinions or the way that you think or the things that you do. Don't get stuck in your routine. Allow yourself to change and be flexible and grow. The Adelita of Earth, this has been coming up for me a lot lately too, and when she comes up for me, tells me to take all of that I have been thinking of and really bring it into the world. A movement from that air, and it's taking it down to the physical world and really manifesting it in where we are and building something tangible from it. The Madre of Earth, the Queen or Mother of Earth. I love that she's kind of surrounded by this earth, and there's a little patch of light coming. The plant kind of reminds you of sunlight because it's yellow. This came up a lot for me in the past too, and when I get a lot of the same cards, especially in this deck, I like to look up the plant and see kind of its metaphysical uses, but also its physical real uses. And this one is one to kind of ease stress and anxiety, and it's a very calming plant, and I think that's what I needed a lot. And the final card is the Healer Curandera, King of Earth. And she's right where the plant grows. So we've got those. I'll give it a good shuffle, and then we can lay them out so you can see how they look. I'll lay out. And of course the Strength card comes out because that's what I talked about the whole time. So yeah, this is the Herbcrafter's Tarot and kind of my interpretations and takes on the cards. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope that it brought some wisdom or a new take on the cards for you guys. Thank you for watching.